Old man Woody likes the crooked cock.
That wasn't the issue we had with early employees. When you generally, when people get a job selling exotic cars, they make some crazy personal financial decision, and the most common one is to buy a motorcycle. And Georgia is a little bit peculiar in that to get motorcycle insurance, you have to have a motorcycle license, and to get a motorcycle license, you have to take the test. And to take the test, you have to have a motorcycle. So you have to have it before you can insure it.
Yeah, that seems ass backwards.
And they will finance them without you having insurance or a license. So you can get a loan for a non-insured asset and then go through the process and hopefully be able to insure it. And so we had a lot of guys that would come in and literally the first week they buy a motorcycle. And one of the guys' name was Nick, and he was young, just I'm so cool. I'm selling exotic cars. I'm everything I want to be. And so he buys this Victory motorcycle, and I don't know what it's like, 15 grand, and finances every dollar of it. As most car salesmen have a tremendous amount of negative equity in their cars. It's a strange thing, or motorcycles too. And he's never ridden one. Doesn't have any of the steps completed. Doesn't have a license. Doesn't have insurance. Nothing. And so I'm on the phone actually trying to buy a Bugatti for a customer, and it's like a nice kind of fall day. We got the doors all open, and it was getting time to close. And so I hear them outside, and one of the guys that worked at the store that knew how to ride a motorcycle was like, well, I'm going to pull it inside. They had dropped it off to us. Like, he didn't drive it away from the dealership. They came and gave it to him. And so it was in a lot, and he started, it was pulling it in. He's like, hey, I just want to sit on my new motorcycle. And one of the rules of motorcycles is you don't sit on one without a helmet. And if you don't know how to drive one, you don't sit on one while it's running. And, because with a car, like if you don't know what you're doing and you just do nothing, you'll usually slowly roll into whatever's in front of you. With a motorcycle, if you suddenly let go and do nothing, you launch into whatever is in front of you. And so he was probably about 18, 20 feet from the back of a Porsche Panamera. And he obviously just like kind of doesn't know what he's doing, tries to make it move and just drops the clutch and blasts himself into this Panamera and shatters the back glass of it with his face. No helmet or anything, obviously. The motorcycle drags along the side of the Panamera and does a bit of damage to it. And so I hear just screech, bang, crash, boom. And I go out there, and the guy who had kind of let him sit on his motorcycle, that knowing he didn't know how to do it, was like freaking out, trying to pick up the bike. Our sales manager was out there like noticing all the blood coming out of Nick's face, and he's freaking out. And so I go over there, I kind of grab his face. I'm like, yeah, we're going to have a fun night tonight. And so he comes out, and so fortunately, I don't know, I had like a moving blanket in my car. So I got him in there, and he keeps looking down, and all the blood's just dripping out of his face, all cut up. And so we go up to the emergency room, and there's like little girls with broken arms and stuff like that. And we look like we just came from an axe murderer. And I'm probably the axe murderer because he's the one with all the blood on him. But it was covered in blood. So they get him in immediately. And the first doctor walks in and sees how much blood and how cut up he is. And is like, nope, not doing that. And he goes out and calls another guy. Second dude comes in.
Can you do that as a doctor?
Yeah. I guess they
probably want that. Right?
The second
because I don't want a doctor that says, hey, I'll give it a go.
I feel like I got it. I got to learn sometime. So,
I've been doing this for 3 months, so I got it.
That's right. That's right. New personal best for stitches. But the third guy was like the stitch guy, because during the time he was putting about 80 stitches in Nick's face, 2 times people came in like needing the stitch guy, and he's like, no, I can't. And I mean, he's young, kind of vain, just, freaking out. No, he's never going to look like anything but Leatherface again.
Yeah, and there's some scarred up 8-year-old girl somewhere because of this guy's motorcycle.
Right. Her arms all,
yeah, the good doctor wasn't available.
I shouldn't have tried to pet the pit bull. I'm to blame. I'll remember every time I try and use peripheral vision or depth perception with my remaining eye.
I just don't know how you put an ear on backwards.
I didn't have two left ears before the pit bull. They grabbed out of the mismatch pile. Anyway, sorry.
They worked on him for 3 hours. It was awful. And I mean, he pulled back a flap of face and an ant walks out. But I guess it'd been on the Porsche. And I was like, Nick, I mean, you got a story from today, but that ant has got really something to tell his friends when he gets back home. But yeah, they got him all stitched up, and I gave him one of my shirts. We could go get some to eat. So it's like 2, 3 in the morning at that point.
You guys went to White Castle afterwards or something?
Waffle House.
Steak and shake, absolutely. Ooh, and I mean, nice. He's like wrapped up mummy style on his face. And everybody's like, what in the world? It was like one of those scenes in a movie where they just finished Fight Club, and like, you can tell they're having just a whole different experience than the rest of the guests of the restaurant that night. But no, he was eternally grateful for that. And but the problem was, of course, new employee, no insurance, and no motorcycle insurance to pay medical bills. And so before we leave, they're like, how do you want to pay for this? He's like, well, I don't know. I don't have insurance. And like, we can go speak to our financial counselor. And so we go sit in front of this huge woman that's going to tell us, whatever Nick's going to owe. And she's like, she hands us a bill. It's like $8,500. And he's like, darn it, because he's already got to pay for his total motorcycle over the next like 60 months. And now he's got this huge medical bill that he can't get insurance for. I was like, well, if we walk out of here, I know your collection rates drop pretty fast. So what if we were to pay it right now? And she's like, oh, well, in that case, we could do a pretty big discount. We could probably take like 25% off. I don't know. I mean, it's not convenient to pay it right now. She's like, well, I don't know. What if it was half off? I was like, well, still, that's still $4,000. Man, that's a big Amex bill this month. And she's like, I don't know if I can do any better than that. I said, well, I don't know. Then I can pay any more than what, I was like, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $800. And she's like, let me see what I can do. She starts fake typing. Yeah. And she's like, we'll take it.
And you got like 92% off.
Yeah. And actually, then I pull out my wallet. I was like, you know what? I've got $500 in cash. And she's like, and Nick's like, stop.
The Stitch Man needs his payments.
That's right. Yeah.
That is.
I didn't know. I heard you tell that story. Like just 4 hours ago, I was listening to you tell that story, and I felt so stupid because all my life I've negotiated everything. Like if I'm kind of aware of the things that are negotiable. I go buy a new living room suit. I'm haggling with this guy. I know he's on commission. I'm like, is there any wiggle room there? He's like, no, and I think you're getting a good deal here. I'm like, well, I don't really think I am. Maybe I'll go to rooms to go. And let's see what we can do, and just keep going until they're willing to let you walk out the door. That's kind of my modus operandi on most things. Furniture, cars. My Sirius satellite radio, my car insurance, everything. Like Sirius satellite radio will go from like $50 a month to like $8 a month after about a 30-minute phone call. And I had no idea you could negotiate medical bills because I've had to pay some.
I knew you could do it. I didn't know you could do it that well. That is what's shocking me, right? When he said $3,000, I'm like, this is hilarious. He's going to meet him in the middle at 31. No, he didn't. He met him at 800 and nearly got 5. That is,
yeah.
I feel like there are times in my life I should just give Ed a call. Hey, I'm about to spend $8,000. I'll split the difference between what I actually spend with you.
Yeah.
You might spend 15 minutes on the phone earning $1,500. That seems worth it.
I ended on that note. I love the wordplay.
That was the best shit I've ever heard.